Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your day. I hope you are having an amazing day. So it is actually evening time here. It's a little after 7. It's dark outside. It's probably been dark for a couple of hours. And I'm always sad this time of year when the sun starts going down so early. I don't like coming home in the dark and then just having it be dark when I'm home, and it's hard to feed my animals and stay awake because I get tired. But that's the way it is. It's dark, it's fall, there's nothing I can do about it. So I wanted to make a video today talking about 75 hard. So I should have made videos all through my process of 75 hard. I made one at about week 2 or so. Just talking about why I was doing 75 hard, what 75 hard was, and maybe what I got out of it at that time. But I am now done. I finished on Friday. So Friday, the 26th of November, I finished. So I did 75 hard through Thanksgiving, which was actually not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I actually lost 3 pounds through the Thanksgiving weekend, which was really exciting. I never lose weight on Thanksgiving. But, I finished on Friday the 26th. My birthday was on Saturday the 27th, so I got to relax a little bit for my birthday. I had a couple glasses of wine. I had a piece of pecan pie because it's my absolute favorite. But I still worked out twice that day. I still drank my water. I still read my book. I still did everything else. I just slacked on my diet a little bit, and then I picked it right back up on Sunday. And we'll get into why I am doing that and carrying this through and didn't just quit at 75 days. So 75 hard, if you don't know what it is, if you're hearing about it for the first time, it is a mental toughness program. So it's not a challenge. It's not a weight loss program. It's mental toughness. And you might be thinking, mental toughness, what would that be about? Why would I need something like that? Well, first off, why wouldn't you? Looking around at our society today, there's a lot of mentally weak people. People who whine and complain, people who play the victim all the time. And being mentally tough really means that you won't find yourself in those situations very often. You'll take accountability for who you are, for your actions, for what you say, for what you believe, for the truth that you think, the truth that you hold in your heart. So being mentally tough is really important. It helps you get through the day. It helps you with business if you're a business owner. It helps you with your children. I have had to be extremely mentally tough with one of my children through this process, and I'll get into that as well. So I started, you know what? I'm not even sure the exact date. Well, like 78 days ago, whatever that was. It was like September 13th or something like that, maybe September 12th. Is when I started 75 hard. And honestly, I have been thinking about it for years. I have wanted to do it, but I didn't want to give up alcohol. I didn't want to be disciplined for 75 days because that sounded like a long time. And, I'd kind of done it in the past. I was a figure competitor. So for 3 months, I would competition diet and I would work out, but I would always have a cheat meal. I would have a time where I would allow myself to eat a little something different. I'd have a little leadway. I didn't really drink during competition time, but I didn't deprive myself of everything that I wanted. So 75 hard, the basic rules are for 75 days, you have to do 5 tasks. The first one is to take a progress picture every single day, because even though this is a mental toughness program, you also are doing a lot of physical things. So to be able to see the fruits of your hard work is very important. So take a progress picture every single day. The second one is to drink a gallon of water every single day. It's a lot harder than you think. I tried to have my water done by about 4 in the afternoon. If I didn't, I'd be up all night peeing, and I did not want to do that. The third one is to work out twice a day for 45 minutes each time, and one of those workouts has to be outside. And the workouts have to be 3 or so hours apart, so you can't do 2 45-minute workouts back to back. There's a few reasons for this. One is recovery. Make sure your body can recover after the first workout. 2 is just to make it friggin' inconvenient, because life is not about convenience, and that's why one of them has to be outside, because life is not about convenience. You can't always control what's going on around you. You can't control the weather. You can't control what people think. You can't control what happens. And so giving up a little bit of that control and doing a workout outside, even when it's snowing, which it never snowed on me. But I got some rain. I got cold weather. Actually, it did snow. It just flurried a little bit one day during my outside workout. And that was in like early November, I think. So we got a little bit of flurries. If it's stormy, whatever it is, you're working out outside because you can't always control your conditions. And the fourth one is to pick a diet and stick with it. It has to be clean, but it can be any diet. So it can be keto, it can be intermittent fasting, it can be paleo, it can be macro counting. I mean, whatever it is, stick with it, and it has to be clean. So no cheats, no cheat meals, and no alcohol at all. And you're not supposed to find things like, if you usually eat cookies at night, then don't go find a substitute for cookies like paleo cookies or whatever, because you're not really doing the program. You're supposed to be not having some of these things, you want to deprive yourself of some of these things that are comfort foods or, that are cheat foods, because again, you don't always know what's going to be available and out there, and being able to be disciplined and stick to something for 75 days is very, very important. And the last task is reading 10 pages of a personal development book every single day. So I read not quite a half, but a little over 4 books. I read the 75 Hard book. I read Badass CEO or Badass Female CEO. I wish I had them in front of me. I read Extreme Ownership. I read Relentless, and then I started Think Like a Monk, and I'm still reading that now. So I didn't finish Think Like a Monk. My 75 days ended before I finished it, but I am still reading it. So those are the books that I read. So 10 pages a day. Now, those are 5 tasks. They don't really sound that hard, but doing them day after day, after day, after day, without a break, without a cheat, without skipping 5 ounces of water, without deciding not to read, without a break at all, is tedious. It's monotonous. It's the same thing. It's tiring. Your body gets tired. It starts to wear down. You mentally get tired. It's a grind. I did really well. So the first 2 weeks were pretty tough for me. So why I did 75 Hard is because I wanted to transform my relationship with alcohol. And what happened with my son kind of pushed me to do that now. So that was the big reason why I hadn't done 75 Hard in the past, because I didn't want to stop drinking. And I know that's terrible, but that's just the truth. That's what it was. My son in July overdosed on fentanyl and almost died. And so we moved him in with us. And then he was arrested with an alcohol-related charge and was in jail for about 4 days, I think. And after that point, I knew I had to get him to rehab. And then he was arrested again right before we went to rehab. Luckily, those charges were dropped. And so I took him to rehab in Georgia. We live in Kansas. And as soon as I got back, I started 75 Hard. I needed him to see that I supported him in his sobriety. And I needed to rethink my relationship with alcohol. And I thought 75 Hard would be a really good way to do that, because it was going to be mentally hard, because I'm around drinkers. My husband drinks, not a lot. I mean, he drinks, we're social drinkers. He drinks. We go to parties. We have friends. So during my 75 days, I went to 2 seminars. One of them was 5 days, one of them was 4 days, in very nice places, the Florida Keys and Phoenix, Arizona, where everybody was drinking in the evenings. I did not. I went to see my son twice at Atlanta. I had a Halloween party. I had 3 Thanksgivings, and then my birthday, but that was right after. I thought actually my last day was on my birthday, so I was super excited when I realized my last day was the day before my birthday. But I kept living life. I kept doing the things. I kept going to things. I just didn't drink. And, I talked about what I was doing on my social media. So people, when I would go to these parties or talk to them at different events, they weren't like, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you eating this? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? They knew, and they were encouraging to me. I mean, and even the people who I thought might give me a little shit were like, no, you've come too far. You can't mess up now. We're not going to let you drink. We're not going to let you eat that. So it was really nice to see that I had a lot of people rooting for me and a lot of people who wanted me to succeed because I didn't know if people would want me to succeed as much as I wanted to succeed. So I started 75 Hard because of my son and because I knew I needed to change my relationship with alcohol. And I quickly learned that it was because of me, because I had allowed myself to not be mentally tough anymore. And I pride myself on being somebody who is pretty mentally tough. I'm not going to go through my whole life story, but basically when I was a teenager, I did a lot of drugs. I found out I was pregnant. I stopped doing drugs. I was a single mom with 2 kids by the time I was 21. Raised them by myself. When I was 28, I decided I was going to go to chiropractic school as a single mother. So I commuted 40 minutes each way a day to go to chiropractic school. I met my husband while I was in chiropractic school. I started a practice. I did triathlons. I did half Ironmans. I did figure competitions. I ran a business. That's just a little brief synopsis of my life. And so I feel like I'm a very mentally tough person. But then 2020 hit, and I know that was hard for everybody. It was a really hard time when March of 2020 happened. I'm a chiropractor. I have a little different thinking than some people. And I was turned to the Board of Healing Arts 3 times for nothing other than BS. And it was hard, and it was hard on me, and it kind of made me shut down as a person. And I started drinking a lot, and I started not showing up, just not showing up in life. Like, I still went to work, I still went to the gym most days, but I was pretty lazy about that as well. I just started not showing up because I was scared. I was living in fear. I was allowing fear to run my life. Fear of what was going to happen with the board complaints, fear that I might get turned in again, fear of what other people would think, fear of what I was going to say, fear of everything, just so much fear. And what I realized through the process of 75 Hard is that I don't have to live in fear. I can be unapologetically me. I can have my own opinions and beliefs. And it's not like I have to go splash them everywhere, but I can hold them in here, and it's okay. It's okay what I think and who I am and what I believe in and what I stand up for. It's okay. And I'm allowed my own opinions. And I don't have to be pushed down by other people. That I can stand tough because I am tough. And let me tell you, when day 50 hits, you want to quit. And if I wasn't mentally tough and if I didn't have the grit between day 50 and like 63, I would have quit. Those 2 weeks were hell. It was a grind every day, over after ever. You're just far enough in that you can't quit. But there's still so much time until the finish line. And you can see it. And you know it's there. And you check off your things on the app every day. And at night it's like, you've completed day 50. Yeah. You completed day 51. Oh, but I still have so many days. But after I got into the mid-60s, I only had a couple weeks left, and I could feel it. I could taste it. I knew it was there. And I was so excited. I was so proud of myself for getting that far and for being there. And Thanksgiving weekend, my mental toughness was challenged big time. And that was because my son was supposed to be coming home for Thanksgiving, and instead he got extremely intoxicated at the airport, got arrested, and was in jail in Atlanta. And I was in Kansas, and I still had like 3 days left. And that just almost broke me. I wanted to drink. I wanted to get intoxicated. I wanted to escape it. I wanted to not think about it. I was sad. I was hurt. I was angry. I was disappointed. I was all the emotions. But I didn't. I held strong. Because I knew this, it wasn't about me. That's him. And I can't take on him. And I've lost a lot of sleep since then. I'm very tired right now. And I'm there to support him. And I'm there to help him. But ultimately, this is his journey that he has to go through. And I'm going through mine. And all I can do is be a good example and be a shining light and be a safe haven for him to come to and trust in and be with if he needs me. So he's good now. He's back in rehab. He's out of jail. So everything's kind of mellowing out a little bit. I'm hopefully optimistic, or I'm cautiously optimistic is what I say to people. So I finished 75 hard, but I'm going still. I'm still working out twice a day. I'm still drinking my water. I'm still reading my book. I'm actually still doing 100% of it right now, 100%. I didn't work out for 45 minutes. It was more like, well, it's 45 minutes this morning and 30 minutes this afternoon. So maybe not quite 45 minutes. So I'm not doing it 100%. And the reason is I listened to Andy Frisella's podcast, Real AF, and he had on one of his employees, Will, I don't know his last name, starts with a G, Grumpke or something of that nature. And Will was talking about how one day he decided to run 100 miles. And he was never really a runner. And he'd been training for running. I think he'd run a half. I think he'd done some running, but he had tried 100 miles and I think failed at like mile 70. His body broke down. And then he didn't train again for like 3 or 4 months. And then he decided on a Thursday or something that tomorrow I'm going to run 100 miles. And so he did. He ran laps around the First Form headquarters for 100 miles. No headphones, no music, 100 miles. And something I have been avoiding, because I used to be a triathlete and I got up to half Ironman. And as soon as I did that, I was like, I'm never going to do an Ironman. That sounds terrible. That's going to suck. I will never, ever do that. And listening to Will talk, I realized that was my bitch voice. My bitch voice had been in my head telling me I couldn't do it, telling me it was too much. Somebody didn't need to do it. I didn't need to prove to myself that I could do it. So hardly anybody does half Ironmans. Ironmans. So why do I need to do it? And once I realized that was my bitch voice talking, I realized that I had to do an Ironman. So now I'm training for an Ironman. So I'm planning to doing the Chattanooga Ironman, September 25th, I think, in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that is one of the reasons I'm going to keep going. And also because I'm going to do my Live Hard year. So I'll actually finish my Live Hard year right before the Ironman. So there are 3 phases after 75 hard: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, appropriately called. Phase 1, you do everything from 75 hard. You just add in a 5-minute cold shower, which I'm starting my shower training right now because that's terrible. And you add in 10 minutes of dedicated visualization a day. And then 3 more power tasks, 3 more things from your power list on top of the 5 that you're already doing. So there'll be 8 total. And those are your choosing, things that drive you forward in life. And then phase 2, you have to wait a month. So I'm waiting a month between 75 hard and phase 1. You don't have to, but I am. And then phase 2, you have to wait a month between phase 1 and phase 2. So phase 2, you just do all the 75 hard things, and that's for 30 days. Phase 1 is for 30 days as well. And then phase 3, I can't honestly remember. I think you do all the 75 hard things. I don't know if you do the cold shower and the 10 minutes of visualization. I have to look that up again. But you also have to do 1 random act of kindness a day. And you have to do, have a conversation, like talk with a stranger, like meet somebody new, talk with them, not just a, hey, how's it going, but actual, even not an in-depth conversation, but a conversation with a stranger. And you can't do phase 3 until the last 30 days before you started 75 hard. So if I started 75 hard on September 13th, then 30 days before September 13th of 2022, I will start phase 3. Because if I fail phase 3, I have to start back at 75 hard. So that's my journey. That's what 2022 is going to bring me. It's going to bring me a lot of work. It's going to bring me a lot of grit and determination and perseverance and hopefully a lot of hope and a lot of love. And maybe a lot of camaraderie and growth. I feel like 2022 is going to bring me a lot of growth. And I've had so much growth in my life. Sometimes I think, how, Lord, how do I need more growth? But you never stop growing. And that's where I am right now. I'm in a growth phase, and I'm ready. I'm here for it. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I'm amazed. And I just want you all to know that you can do it too. You can do hard things. It sucks. It hurts. It's physically demanding. It's taxing. It's exhausting. But you can do hard things. You have grit. You have grace. You have determination. You have perseverance. You have all of these things. It might be hidden in there somewhere, but you have it. I can see it. I can see it in me. I can see it in my son. And I can see it in everybody else. These are hard times right now. And these hard times are going to make strong people. And that's okay. It's all a cycle. We all go through it. So when you're weighing whether or not you should start a challenge or start a program, maybe you're weighing whether or not you should start 75 hard. What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks if you don't do it? What will you be leaving behind if you do it? What will you gain? Let's say you fail. Okay, try again. Maybe you fail again. Try again. It's okay. It's okay to fail. It's not okay not to try. So why stay stuck when there's something you can do about it? Keep going. Pick yourself up. Keep trying. It's hard. It sucks. It hurts. One foot after the other. One step, one breath. That's what my coach says. What will change in here and in here if you do this? What needs to change? These are all questions you have to ask yourself. Reach out. If you need help, if you need guidance, there's a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of people here for you. Even when you think there's nobody, there's a lot. I'm here. All right. Well, now I have to get on coaching calls. So I hope everybody has a beautiful evening. If you want to do 75 hard, research it. Andy Frisella's podcast, Real AF, episode 14 talks all about it. I believe episode 16 talks about the powerless and maybe the phases. And it's just a good podcast in general. I like it. I know it's not for everybody. A lot of you may not like it, but that's okay. You don't have to. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to like different things. But I encourage you to do something for yourself. And this program would be doing something for yourself. And something pretty fucking amazing. All right. Good night, everybody.